Hey, good Sunday afternoon. I'm John, the carnivore teacher. We have here in the upper left-hand corner Stephanie at Happy Sexy Health. We have Mr. George Goodenough in the middle. And down on the bottom, we have our two wonderful guests for today on Sunday School Carnivore, Kat Herman and Papa Carnivore, Peter. And they're going to share their stories with us and how carnivore has healed them, changed their life, done these wonderful things. That's why we're here on Sunday School Carnivore. Why we call it that? Because this is an amazing way of life that has basically transformed our lives, and we're sharing it with the world. So if you are watching us right now, click the like button right away. Invite people, people who aren't watching this, go and tell them to join us, give them the link, and maybe we can get some engagement. You're welcome to type questions in the comments by typing QQQ and then type your question, and we will try to get to your question and answer it with our guests. And you can even just leave comments, and maybe we'll highlight the comments all about carnivore. So I guess we'll get started with introductions, brief introductions, because we've got a couple of guests. We only have an hour, and that hour just zooms by every Sunday. And we have two guests instead of one this time. So we want to make sure we get as much in as possible. So we'll start, and we'll go clockwise. We'll start with Happy Sexy Health with Stephanie with her beautiful hair. She's got a new hairdo today.
Yeah, got a new hairdo.
Tell us all about your hair. Tell us about yourself.
So I'm Stephanie from Happy Sexy Health, and with my sister Nicky, we had a carnivore health transformations, and now we help other people get started with carnivore eating with a 21-day primal body reset. And on the channel, we have people who've done the reset, and we also talk to guests like this and share people's stories of carnivore health transformation. So I'd love to see you there. Over to you, George.
Okay, so my name is George Goodenough. I'm your 60-year-old carnivore friend from Bridgewater, Somerset, England. My health story is exactly the same as Peter's. We are twins from across the pond, so whatever he says, that's pretty much me as well. I did my This is Dave Mack, which Dave posted yesterday, so if you want any more details about me, you can go and find me on that one. I'm also on YouTube, George Goodenough 823, and I'm very, very active on Facebook. Probably most of our viewers have already found me on Facebook, to be honest with you, but anybody who hasn't, please come and find me. Very active in the carnivore community, and now I'm going to hand you over to the headmaster of this Sunday school, or the principal, as you call him in America, John LaSpina. John, you're muted. John, you are muted.
I was just going to talk about muting your microphones when you're not talking, and I was muted. So George, if you could move your mic in a little bit, you're like really, really soft, and we're a little louder. Normally it's the other way around. And when we're all talking, unlike what I just did, make sure we mute when it's not our turn so that we don't have scratchy sounds and all that stuff. But don't do what I did. Make sure you unmute when it's time to talk. I'm the carnivore teacher. I'm on YouTube and all the other social media sites. I put out a lesson every Sunday, and I interview people, and I come on here and talk to you fine folks about this wonderful way of eating, to spread the word, to pay it forward, because it's free. It's free. We're not selling a product, a powder, a potion, or anything, just information, knowledge about the proper human diet and all the wonderful benefits it can do for your health, which is priceless. Our health is our wealth. So that's why I'm here as well as everybody else. And that's who I am. And Peter, tell us about, how'd you get your handle, Papa Carnivore? Is it just because you're a...
Well, when I had my son, this is going back to the early 90s, and my son's now 30, almost 31. They said, "Oh, what a proud Papa, Papa Petey." And so my nickname is Papa Petey, really. And then, of course, as a carnivore, it's Papa Carnivore, But my name's Peter, so Papa. They said, "What a proud Papa." That's how it started. So my nickname, most people just call me Papa. Like all my friends just call me Papa or Papa Pete. But so I am 29 years old. Just kidding. I am 63. I don't feel 63, but I, as a kid, I hated vegetables. I used to be the last kid at the table of the three kids, fighting with my mom. It was like a struggle session to eat my vegetables that were still on my plate. I love the meat, eggs, butter. I always was a carnivore, I think, because I just hated, it was like I hated the vegetables. So I'd sit there and argue with her, and she'd say, eat 10 peas, and I'd say, I'll eat 2. And that's, I guess, how I got into sales. I've been a salesman my whole life. And she'd say, okay, eat 8. And I'd say, I'll eat 3, and then she'd turn around and I'd say, okay. And I would take the peas and I'd either put them under the mashed potatoes and hide them under there so they were gone, or I'd take, if there were vegetables I couldn't hide, there was a potted plant right behind me. And I would put the vegetables and put them under the dirt with my spoon and I hide them. So I guess I always knew I was carnivore. But as I got older, into my 30s, 40s, I started gradually gaining weight. I was always completely addicted to cookies and chocolate and bread and candy and Pop-Tarts, you name it. I just chips and just everything, donuts. I couldn't get enough. I was never a moderator. People would say, oh, you just eat some, you could just have a little of this and a little of that. I couldn't do it. If you gave me, one cookie, I had to have, or whatever, chocolate bars. I can't moderate that stuff. Even bread, I just would eat, but I would always load it with lots of butter. I don't know if you guys did that. So as I got older, I started really just packing on the pounds. And once I got into my 40s, 50s, I guess I would average, I don't know, 250 to 240 to 260, in that range. Now I'm 6'3". I'm a big guy, but I started getting up there to size 40, then 42 waist. And eventually I had gotten up to, and this is, I was 3 years ago, I was 60 years old. I had gotten up to probably 310 pounds at my peak. And I was a size 44 waist. I had gone to the doctor's office. I was pre-diabetic for a while. I had high blood pressure. I was on 3 blood pressure medicines. I had fatty liver. I had all different things. Terrible chronic arthritis in my knees so bad I could barely walk. Fatigue. I was always fatigued terribly. I had gout in my big toes. I had just terrible acid reflux. I was on omeprazole for that for years. Probably over a decade. I had sleep apnea. I also had bipolar depression, anxiety, and ADHD. And I was being medicated with if you saw Carrie's pill box, from Homestead How, mine would rival that easily. I was on everything you could think of. Nothing really worked. But any case, I went into the doctor. This was January of 2023. And I'm doing the thing with the nurse, and the nurse is asking me, do you still take this blood pressure medicine? Do you still take that? Take your all? Are you still taking your different medicines for your depression and anxiety and all the ADHD? I'm like, yes. And she goes, and what are you taking for your diabetes? I said, what are you talking about? I don't have diabetes. I have pre-diabetes. She goes, no, you have diabetes. I said, really? Since when? Well, I had gone in the August of 2022. This is like 6-7 months prior, and to get my thyroid medicine, I'm slightly hypothyroid, adjusted. Well, they did an A1C, and they didn't even tell me. My A1C was like, I don't know, 8 point something. And they didn't say anything to me for 7 months. Here I am jamming sugar down my neck. All right. And I didn't think much of it. And so I was really upset. I was really mad about that. And you have to understand, my late father-in-law, my ex-wife's father, who was like a second father to me, Dick, he ended up with type 2 diabetes, double amputee, lost both legs, 5 fingers amputated, on dialysis 7 years, in a wheelchair, 24/7 pain, nearly blind from end-stage diabetes. And if any of you know about end-stage diabetes like this, it's no joke, guys. It was the most horrific thing to watch one of your nickel and dimed amputated, first his toes, then his foot, then half a foot, then his foot, then this and that, and then fingers and toes, and then his legs. It was, and on dialysis, he finally passed away. And he was only 74 years old, I think, when he died. Very, very sad. so that message was burning in my brain. Here they're telling me I'm now a full-blown diabetic, and that vision of my father-in-law is dancing in my brain. So when the doctor came in and he said, "Oh no, we told you." I said, "No, you didn't tell me." "Yes, we did. You just don't remember." I'm the idiot, right? So I said, "Look, before he starts talking about maybe, we're going to have to do metformin and we're going to have to do possibly insulin, whatever." And I'm like, "Look, whoa, I want 6 months. I don't know what I'm going to do. Diet, exercise." I had no idea what I was going to do, but I just said, I want to be able to try and fix this. Maybe I can turn this around on my own. So I left that office and I went onto YouTube, and who did I find? Dr. Ken Berry, because I typed in reverse diabetes, 2 words. And what came up? It's the same video Carrie Mann found. Okay, the exact same video we both found Dr. Berry. And that videos had already had several million hits, I think, views. And he started talking about keto. Okay. So I didn't start carnivore. I started as keto. And I started as, well, first I thought it was crazy. I didn't even, this sounds crazy. You can just change your food and reverse diabetes. I started reading the comments. And, you go into that rabbit hole, right, folks? You start reading hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And all these people are like, not only were they talking about reversing diabetes, they're talking about high blood pressure, fatty liver, arthritis, which I could barely walk. It felt like bone-on-bone knee pain. I could barely walk. I mean, all these different things, acid reflux, depression, anxiety. So anyway, I thought all that was crazy, but I figured, you know what? Let me see if I can reverse the diabetes. I don't know about any of that other stuff. So I started dirty keto. I did, the regular keto, but he didn't make it clear in that video about keto treats and cookies and stuff. But eventually, as I'm watching more and more Dr. Berry, and he said, "Oh, keto is not the cookies, candies, cakes." You know how he always says that. He said, it's your plate is meat and veg, meat and half veg. And so I started doing that. And then he started talking about carnivore. It wasn't even long, maybe 2-3 weeks. I'm carnivore by then, because I didn't really like the vegetables. So I kind of turned into a carnivore organically through clean keto to mostly just all carnivore. Within 3 weeks, the pain in my knees was gone, completely gone. I mean, no clicking, no pain, no arthritis. Incredible. My back pain, my shoulder pain. I had an injury in my shoulder. Any case, I know I'm going long, but I'll wrap it up by saying this. I have all of those conditions I mentioned are gone. I am off all medicines except for levothyroxine for my mild hypothyroidism, and that was just reduced. The first time it's ever been reduced, it's gone down. So other than that, I walk 5 to 7 miles every morning. I walked this morning out in the sun. I don't get sunburn, and I'm happy, healthy, and hopeful. So that's my story. And
that is fantastic.
I've lost over 100 pounds.
You have. I've seen your pictures. I've seen the before and after pictures. Saw
my before picture. It was huge. And I went from a size 44 pants to a 34. Amazing. I'm at the same pant size and weight as when I was 19.
And this is why, people listening, we can't shut up. This is just amazing.
While,
yeah. No. We're going to come back to you because we want to let Kat share her story too and give her introduction. So Kat, don't just give an introduction. Tell us, I don't know you at all. I haven't met you. I think this is my first time meeting you. So tell me who you are. Are you a full carnivore? Are you just keto, low carb? When did you start? What have you healed? Tell us about you.
Okay, well, my name's Kat, and I'm a mom of 2. I mostly homeschool. I still work part-time a little bit. I came to this carnivore community because I was keto for about 3.5 years. And I started a clean ketogenic diet because I was diagnosed with polycystic kidney disease. So I started down that road, and honestly, it helped as well. But 3.5 years into making tons of yummy keto treats, my sugar addiction was still raging. I decided it was time to take a little break, and I thought carnivore would be a good way to do that. My plan was 30 days. 30 days carnivore, drop the sugar, drop all the other things, the wine, you name it. and see how it goes. That was my plan. And so my husband and I jumped in on January 1st, and we both went carnivore. And we haven't stopped since. So it's been great. Between ketogenic diet and the carnivore diet, my estimated GFR, my glomerular filtration rate, let me say that right, has went from my lowest was 51% right after I had my son to now it's in the 80s. So I've seen a huge increase in my kidney function. I actually have stopped taking all of my narcolepsy medication because I was diagnosed with narcolepsy in college as well. And my skin is better. My energy is better. I think my mood's probably a little bit better for the most part, except for when I'm, a tired, grouchy mom. But yeah, we just love carnivore. We love eating this way. We love the meat. We love the community. I love the community. I'm actually in a class with Stephanie and George, a carnivore health coaching class. So prior to staying home with our kids, I was a clinical microbiologist, basically. I do lab work for a living. And I still do that very part-time, but now I'm taking a health coaching class because I just want to share this great information with other people that can benefit from it, because I've seen what it's done in my life and I want others to have that opportunity too. Yeah. So there's a little quick summary.
All right. We appreciate that. Viewers, if you have any questions, I don't see any questions in there. Do you, Stephanie? Please type them for either Peter or Kat about how this has helped improve their lives, how carnivore has changed their lives. Everybody has a unique story. George Goodenough was just on Dave Mack. I listened to his whole interview. Every single interview, he's done over 1,000. They're all so unique and different, just like Peter's, just like Kat's and mine and Stephanie's. We all have a different story, and people hear these and something rings. And they're like, wow, I'm going to listen to another one. And people go down through these little rabbit holes and start learning. One of the things I've noticed, and I don't know, some of you chime in and tell me if you've noticed this too. You can't convince somebody to just switch unless they have their reason. They tend to want to come to this for a reason. I came to this because I wanted to lose weight. A lot of people do that. And then I changed because I got a kidney stone. Some people do this because they have some severe issue and they're kind of like at their last resort. What do I do now? I either do something or I die type thing.
So
a lot of people come to it this way. Yeah.
So John, you remember when first time I met you, I was with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom started keto. She thought I was crazy, of course, for like 2 years. She just, I'm worried. Oh my God, you have to have fruits and vegetables. You're going to die. You're going to have a heart, everything. Right.
Yeah.
Well, she saw me for 2 years, transformed. And it was, a couple of years. It wasn't like a fluke. It's now like, this is a year ago,
right?
Not even a year ago, like 6 months ago. And I finally said, Mom, can you just watch this? This is my interview with Kerry Mann, with one carnivore guy. She watched, and the interview is like an hour long, but she watched the whole thing. So anyway, she goes, okay, yeah, it's pretty good. The next morning, I saw her and I said, and she says out of the blue, she goes, I want to do your diet.
Wow. I
said, what? This is after 2 years of telling me I'm crazy. It's going to kill me. She goes, no, I want to do that keto thing.
She heard the story.
I don't know that I want to do carnivore, but I know you were doing keto in the beginning. I can do that. I think I can do that. I was like, okay. Now you have to understand, my mom's in October, she'll be 85.
Right.
Okay. She's been a type 2 diabetic, insulin dependent diabetic with Ozempic. Okay. So she's on both for at least 25 years. And all they've done is increase her medicines over and over and over, more and more and more and more insulin. You know how it goes, right? And they told her, this can't be reversed. This is forever. And I was like, and I've been telling her, Mom, I was diagnosed as diabetic. I've been not diabetic for 3 years, almost 3 years now. Coming up, I think I'm 960 days. 40 days, I'll be 1,000 days carnivore. You know what I mean? February 1st will be 3 years. So I just want you to know, so she's been on the keto and she's fallen off and on. You know, she is not perfect, but she's lost 25 pounds. Her doctor cut her insulin in half. They cut her Ozempic in half.
So she stopped. She was talking about how she couldn't give up the bread. She said,
"Yeah, remember she said that to
you." Has she given up the bread yet, or is she?
That's where she's
weaning it down, or
she was doing it. Then she had a bread thing, and then I found out she was going to Bridge and having a half a bagel, and it's like she didn't tell me. And so anyway, I was like, Mom, you can't. You know, you are a very difficult patient. You know, I said, I'm trying really hard to keep you alive, but you're a very difficult patient. She laughs. So anyway, I said, look, you can have a couple crackers. Okay. Have a couple crackers, but you can't have bagels and bread. You know, I'm trying to, massage it a little bit, John, a couple crackers versus, bagels.
Did you get a chance to like let her know like the teaching part that what bread and crackers and what that is starch, and starch is glucose, and glucose is sugar, and sugar is diabetes.
I told her it's no different than chugging sugar in a teaspoon. It turns into the same thing. Starch turns into sugar.
As long as somebody gets that key, they finally understand that concept, and they look at bread differently. And they choose not to eat it more.
But she's also off 2 of her 3 blood pressure medicines. And, again, she's doing so much. I keep joking with her, Mom, I've done more for you. I'm not even a doctor. Now, my brother and sister are doctors, type 2 diabetic on insulin. They both take in Ozempic. They think it's a wonder drug, my brother and sister. They're both obese. They both have high blood pressure on medicines. But I'm the crazy brother who eats meat, and they tell me I'm going to die. It's dangerous. What I'm doing is completely, like whatever.
That's all right. Let them watch you. Remember that when they see you, you are more than what your words are.
Well, they always say how
really
great
is
I
amazing.
look, and they always say, "Oh my God, you look great." And my sister-in-law is kind of I would call her a pescatarian. She's pretty much vegetarian, but she does eat fish and thinks she eats eggs. But she's, very clean. So she thinks what I've done is amazing, but my brother and sister think I'm going to die of a heart attack.
That's a common thing. How about you, Kat? What are your thoughts on relatives and trying to communicate and explain how you improved your life? Usually relatives are tricky. They don't want to listen to us. Friends will listen to us. Relatives and family tend to not. How about you?
Oh, goodness. Yeah. I'd say most of my family's fairly receptive. My dad's kind of dabbled in a ketogenic diet some, and sometimes he'll say, maybe I should go carnivore. Maybe I should try it. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but I mean, he's pretty understanding of it. But I definitely have some other relatives that'll say, well, I'm glad that worked for you. And
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And George,
and
your wife is now a carnivore. Am I correct?
What they're thinking is you're nuts.
Keto?
Yeah, exactly. They're like, I would never give up any of that. They say, so you're going to eat this way forever? And I'll say, well, I mean, if it means the difference between kidney failure and living, I think I will. And
do they
just kind of look at me.
Do they know about your kidney issue and how you've turned it around by changing your diet?
Oh yeah, they do. And they're like, oh honey, that's great. Are you going to keep eating this way? I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm going to go back to kidney failure.
I know. It's like, it's helped so much. Why would I stop? And they're like, well, I just couldn't give up all those foods. It's like, okay. Yeah, it's tough. Family's tough. And friends are tough. I mean, I'm just really fortunate. My husband decided to jump on board with me January 1st, and he's still carnivore too. Because that whole 3.5 years before that, I was a really strict, clean ketogenic for the most part. And everyone else around me was eating whatever. I was the odd man out all the time. But now he's with me. So we both kind of are the odd ducks around. So that helps. That helps a lot. To have the support.
I will tell you, my son is 31, and we send each other pictures of our steaks and stuff. He's pretty much, he's the meat and stuff, but he's kind of more keto. Like he'll still do maybe like a sweet potato or some non-starchy veg, but he's pretty much, I would say keto, but he loves Paul Saladino.
No.
Now my son
Yeah.
is ripped. My son is ripped. He's thin, has a six-pack. He's a gym rat. So is his wife. But they're pretty clean. And my granddaughter, he sent me a picture of my granddaughter Ellie, who's 6 months old, eating like a chicken wing drumstick. It was hilarious, guys. She's loving that chicken drumstick. So.
That's wonderful. Our kids are mostly animal based at this point. So we have a 10-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. And they eat pretty close to animal based. I mean, they still eat some other things, but I will say that's when it sometimes is challenging with family because they'll be like, can't they just have a cupcake? I'm like, I'd really rather they didn't because it's going to make them sick too because they eat so clean all the time that if you give them a big giant piece of cake, it's probably going to make them feel terrible.
Yeah.
And our son's actually very sensitive to sugar. So when he was even just first starting to eat food, real food, he would get a rash if he ate anything with very much sugar, even fruit. And that was a big hurdle to climb with family because they would, give him a banana and an orange and he'd come home and have a rash and whelps. And I'd be like, oh yeah, how did it go? And I said, well, we just went ahead and gave him a banana. And I was like, okay, well, that actually has a lot of sugar in it.
But it's fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are healthy for you. You need to have more of them, right?
Exactly. So that was really hard. They'd be like, we gave him some apple juice. And it was like, oh, let's not do that.
Yeah. That's just pure sugar there.
But they think they're not trying to hurt.
No, they're not doing it on purpose, but they're believing the misinformation that's been shared for decades that we've repeated.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Steph? Yeah. Let's let Steph and George share some thoughts on family and how difficult it can be.
Oh well, I'm flying high at the moment because my son, who's in his 30s, he originally just took it as one of the crazy things that mom is doing, because mom has done vegan, mom has done vegetarian, mom has gone on like, she knows everything. So he just sort of took it in his stride, but he did used to tease me that it was a cult, because the first couple of carnivore meetings or keto meetings that I went to were both at churches. One was actually at not a monastery. One was actually at a monastery. Then the second one was in a church. So he said, have you taken any of your disciples with you? And this is how he carries on. He's quite a funny guy. Anyway, I was hoping that he would take it up for himself, but obviously I did not push it upon him. Through the context of telling other people's stories, I'm able to, show him that it's really helping people. And eventually he came to us and said that he wanted to do the 21-day reset that we do, where you basically eat either carnivore or ketovore with just a little bit of vegetables, because some people have PTSD giving up the veg. And also some people need to taper down to carnivore. And maybe some people still don't even need to go all the way to carnivore. They can get enough results just on ketovore. Anyway, so I was delighted when my son said he would do this. And he, on this reset, we asked them to wear CGM, continuous glucose monitor. I was shocked and horrified, although I kept a lid on it, to see that his fasting blood sugar in the morning as a, early 30s guy was 7. I'll Google what that means in American. But it was 7, so that was high. That's in the.
Do you know what that equivalates to, guys? In
I'll work it out and put it in the chat once I've
okay.
Once I've got it. But so that's really, really poor, and I'm glad that he started this early. Unfortunately, he then went away on holiday with some friends. We used to live in Edinburgh in Scotland in the UK, and he was up there and he was not doing any form of carnivore. He's now back, And I didn't want to be like my usual mum self. Oh, Alex, when are you rejoining? What do you want to do? You know, all of this. He is a man after all. And, you know, he's got his own ideas. But he came back to me again and he said he wants to restart. He wants to restart. So he will be restarting. We've got a reset starting tomorrow and he will be on it. So I'm so grateful for that he's keen, he wants to do it, and he sees the benefit and he understands it's not just about looking ripped. It is also about your health. And I know I was supposed to give a short answer here, but he can see that I have had ovarian cancer, stage 4, and his dad has got heart issues. Neither of us are all that old. And so for him, it's very important to stay on this low carbohydrate train. So that's my thoughts.
Thank you
About
so much for
family.
sharing that. That it's amazing. And when you have something like ovarian cancer or something huge that shows other people when you're on this way of eating, it's just like a guiding light. Like it is so working for me. All right. It's not just me because I don't have an issue, anything that's deadly like a cancer or anything like that. So people don't tend to want to listen to me as much, but they're absolutely going to look at you. They're going to look at Peter, who lost all this weight and is off all this medicine. George too. George, you were almost 300 pounds.
Yeah, 293 pounds, and
Yeah, my goodness.
got down to. Can you everybody hear me now? Or?
It's still a little low for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, I'll speak up. That's about the only thing I can do because I've taken every
Usually
measure.
it's the other way, but all right.
Can you hear me now? Or
I can hear you. It's just a little low.
Okay, so yeah, I'll project my voice. I've been trained to do that in the army. Yeah, okay, so 293 pounds when I started 3.5 years ago. I got down to 168 this summer, back up to about 175 now because I've had a fairly a bit of upheaval. Just but to comment on the friends and family thing, I've just been trying to look up. I often refer to the New Testament for these things, and you've got to remember that when Jesus himself tried to preach in Nazareth, his hometown, because they knew him as the son of Joseph the carpenter. They promptly threw him out of town. So it's basically, if people have seen you from a baby up through to you change and you start telling the story, they don't really want to hear it because they're used to the old you. I mean, the people that I've had the most influence with, my most successful transition has actually been with my friend Dawn who's been on Sunday School Carnivore over in California. And I didn't meet her till last year. So she had no preconceptions about me. So I think a lot of the problem that we have with friends and family who've known us for years is preconceptions. And suddenly they see us go strange, a bit weird really. So therefore they want the old you back, and they don't really want to hear the wisdom from the new you. I certainly had that. To go back to when I first started back in March of 22, Lainey was very, very suspicious. My wife was very, very suspicious about the cult factor.
Yes.
She was afraid, and when I became friends with Lauren Tucker, who's just up the road from me, she was really worried that Laura and myself were going to go skipping off to America to go and join the Healing Humanity cult or the Carnivore cult. So she was very opposed to me becoming a member of the community for quite some time. However, things have changed. Lainey is a cancer sufferer herself. She was diagnosed in September of 2022 with breast cancer. She has had the full poison cut burn, chemotherapy, mastectomy and radiation, and because she had complications, she has had to go on to 2 years of oral chemotherapy, which she finished last Tuesday as a matter of interest. Now, it's no great surprise that Steph and Lainey have become sisters in Carnivore. They become great friends, and we are actually all going out for dinner next Saturday. Really looking forward to that, Steph. So Lainey has been inspired by Steph. She saw a couple of her interviews and how she had gone carnivore and got her energy back. So Lainey was reluctantly aware of the Otto Warburg effect about glucose feeding cancer. She was aware of Thomas Seyfried, but she wasn't really prepared to go the whole way until Steph gave her that bit of inspiration. And now she is effectively carnivore. She still will eat cauliflower cheese occasionally, and if she goes out for a meal, as we are next week, she probably will have a bit of veg as a side on the side. But she's very strong keto overall, hyper carnivore, as I told Dave Mack. So yes, she has actually found her own way with the help of Steph, but not with my help. This is the point, really. She didn't listen to me, but she did listen to Steph, somebody that she didn't even meet until April of this year. So
isn't that amazing?
That's my take on it.
Dr. Berry shared something that I want to share with you, and this topic came up. Can you guys all make sure you mute so we don't hear feedback? Peter, can you please mute? Because that's
one sec.
Yeah, I think that's where it's coming from. There we go. Always mute when you're not talking, so it takes out the sounds. This topic came up, and I heard on one of Monday Night Lives with Dr. Berry and his wife. He said to get to your family members, and I love this, and I share this too, is you go through somebody else. Just like, he went through Stephanie talked to his wife, and she listened because it wasn't directly through George. It was through this other person who's really not a direct relation. And it really got me thinking about my own family, because my brother doesn't want to listen to me. My sister thinks I'm great. People, just like everybody says, the families, they've seen you before. They see you go through all these phases in the decades of your life, and they don't want to hear from you. You're just doing another phase. But if somebody else that you talk to talks to them, they'll tune in, they'll listen. And it's such a cool tip that I got from Dr. Berry. I passed that on. George basically said the same thing. Stephanie, you're a heroine. I got all chills when George was sharing that she was making some changes because she heard what you said. And you, of course, are a reflection of that because of the way you lived your life with the cancer that you're suffering, so that you're fighting. So I just love these stories. I get fired up when I hear, people's lives are not only changed, they're possibly saved because of taking advice and making changes. Absolutely. Yeah. Any, there's a comment. Great. Thank you. Thank you for posting that, Steph. Yes, George, you want to say something before we read the question? You're muted. Got to come off a mute. I'm yelling at people to mute.
Yeah, okay. Now, how's my sound now, John?
That's good.
Yeah, okay, good. Now, both Steph and Lainey have been on chemo, and Lainey has only just come off the oral chemo. Now, when somebody is on chemo, they are supposed to have side effects such as fatigue, basically feeling absolutely terrible, having no energy, not being able to do anything. You should have seen Lainey and Steph at the Great British Meetup this summer. Stephanie spoke very well and obviously was very active during the day. Lainey ran the raffle. These two people were on chemotherapy for God's sake. They're not supposed to be like that. We sort of got our heads together and we realised that basically you kind of have to take the medication because it is this is life and death we're talking about. So we put our heads together and came up with this little mantra, and that is chemo fights cancer, but carnivore fights chemo. So basically the chemo is doing its job, but instead of this, but it does destroy healthy cells as well, and it makes you feel absolutely terrible. But if you cut out the seed oils of sugar and you concentrate on carnivore, you can you do negate the effects of chemo on account of the fact that, as Steph says, she's feeling in the health of her life, even though she's actually suffering from cancer. And Lainey, by and large, is the same as well. So, that's the thing. Carnivore can't necessarily cure cancer, although it has done in the past. But even if it doesn't, it can still actually give you let you live your best life when you have cancer. Shall we put it that way?
Yes. It gives you the fighting edge because you're not feeding the cancer the glucose. And if you're even going one step further and doing glutamine targeting, pulsing the glutamine with certain drugs, if you can get them, or just have the knowledge of how to cook food so they have lower glutamine and exercise, you're basically doing that. And then, of course, with the chemo and any possible radiation, those are just little things on top of it that I've learned. If you're doing everything else correct, that's all in your corner. Our question came up from Rockin' Coach Amy. says, I have been 8 years strict ketovore and just recently went strict carnivore 60 days ago. I'm having swelling and pain in my right knee since going carnivore. Do you think it could be oxalate dumping? We don't know, but it's possible, because when you stop consuming large amounts of oxalates, which come from plants, the body says, okay, we're not seeing this anymore. We want to get this stuff out of our body. Let's start dumping it. And so a lot of people who go carnivore, they cut it out completely and don't have any plants at all. That's when the oxalate starts to mobilize, and it can come out in many, many possible ways, not just in the kidneys. It can come out in your joints and in your eyes and even breast, anything. So it could be oxalate. It's probably not gout. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Gout's usually from purines and just too much going in the wrong direction with fructose, actually. But it could be. And to resolve this, what I have heard the doctors say, Dr. Berry, Dr. Chafee, Monique Attinger, Sally K. Norton, these are the oxalate experts. They say that if you think you're having oxalate dumping that's severe, is to actually reintroduce a little more oxalate into the body. Drink a little bit of black tea, soluble oxalate. The body sees it and it slows down those symptoms. It doesn't hurt as much. So it comes out slower instead of all at once causing a lot of pain.
Yeah, John, I was just going to mention Sally K. Norton. She wrote the book Toxic Superfoods.
Right.
Amy, I'm sure you have the book. If you don't, get the book, Toxic Superfoods, Sally K. Norton. Exactly where I was going to go, John.
Yeah.
And I would just say, Amy, if you are having spinach, nuts, particularly almonds, I'll bet you were having all the keto stuff with almond flour, which is concentrated almonds. Like a lot of the keto treats, it's all made with almond flour. Almond milk. I used to drink gallons of almond milk with my cereal. I thought it was so healthy. And I used to eat pistachio nuts, and cashews are high. So all those nuts and spinach are very high. Black tea, if you were big into black tea before. But like John said, in order to slow down that swelling just temporarily, drink a little black tea, regular black tea, like Lipton, whatever tea. And that'll kind of slow it down because you're reintroducing a little oxalates. But this is going to go away, Amy. I promise you. I told you this before. This is a temporary thing. I had oxalate dumping through my eyes, through my tear ducts. Felt like little shards of glass coming out of my eyes, like sand almost. And it went for like 2 weeks, and my eyes were just watering and just terribly itchy. And it went away. 2 weeks. One day I woke up, boom, it was gone.
Yeah, that's interesting, because Lainey's going through exactly the same thing now herself. She's got the conjunctivitis. She says it feels like crystals.
Yeah.
She went carnivore fairly recently, so almost certainly oxalate dumping.
Yeah.
Have we met, Sally K. Norton as yet when it comes to oxalates?
Say, have we had her on, you mean, or what?
No. Tonight, have we mentioned Sally K. Norton?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading the chat.
Oh, yes, we were just discussing her.
Yeah, I said for
Sally
Amy
K.
to get.
Norton she is the expert.
Yeah.
Amy, did you have any thoughts on this?
Everybody, please mute except who's talking.
Amy, I don't know if you heard that. Did you have any thoughts on either this topic about the
You're getting mixed up between
dumping?
Amy and Kat. It's Kat we got tonight. Amy's in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was wondering, are you waiting for her to come up in the comments and then just?
I was just talking to Amy in the comments. That's why I
had to
was
look down and make
confused.
sure. Is that Kat? Is that Amy?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You can see who you're dealing with here.
That's
Oh,
all
dear.
right. You're human.
So Amy, sorry, am I doing it again? No, it's because we've got Amy's comment up. It's Kat.
Yes.
Kat, have you got any thoughts about this oxalate dumping or the family aspect that we were talking about?
Oh, no, I mean, I agree. It sounds like it possibly could be oxalate dumping. I mean, especially if you've been strict ketovore for a while. I mean, the only other thing is just eliminating anything else that might be causing inflammation in your joints. But it sounds like you've probably already done that. So yeah, perhaps it is oxalate dumping. So no, not a lot else to add to that.
Yeah, we're with oxalate. It's not, you can't diagnose it. Even Sally K. Norton and the experts, you can't. We just assumed, looking at all the criteria of, okay, you were eating ketovore, then you went carnivore and stopped everything. We're just assuming that it is oxalate. It could be something else, but it points to oxalates. I had, like Peter, and I think Lainey, I had in this eye, the upper eyelid underneath, I thought I had something that I got stuck in there. I flushed it out and weeks went by. And I eventually went to the eye doctor. I said, I've got something wrong. They didn't see anything. They never heard of the word oxalate, which scared the heck out of me that a doctor didn't even know what that was. And then I realized what it probably was. I had to flush out an oxalate, which was, rubbing every time I blinked. I was still dumping. Even after my kidney stone, I had it in my eye. And every 3 or 4 months, I get this achy feeling, but I'm not sick. That goes away in 2 or 3 days. And some people have told me that could also be my body is still dumping oxalates from the many, many years of consumption, because it doesn't come out all at once. It comes out in waves over years, depending on how much you consumed in your life.
Sally said it could actually be up to 5 or even more years.
10 years, exactly.
Yeah.
It says that in her book. So she in her book, she has a wonderful, it's a very large book, and it gives you plans on how to slowly do this so that you're not hurting. And she gives you diet plans and regimens and foods to slowly, because you don't want to stop. People who say, I'm going to jump in and go 100% carnivore, I cringe when I hear that. As wonderful as that is and how wonderful the carnivore diet is, I cringe because I know about oxalate dumping, and that could be in their future, depending on what they put into their body before that. And so I often have to bring up this topic and say, I encourage you to ease into carnivore, because the body has to get used to it. And you may experience not only electrolyte imbalances, but severe oxalate dumping. And you want to know what that is and how to treat it when it happens. So these are things we need to consider.
Good question.
Yeah, very good. Any other questions there, Steph, or comments in
Yeah.
we did have
a comment, but I seem to have lost it.
Oh no.
Oh, I think it was Louise was just saying that it's so sad that the message comes from others, friends and family and loved ones, see the transformation right in front of their eyes and don't support. I think it is a mixture, isn't it? Most of us find it's a mixture. Some friends and family are very supportive, but they just don't want to do it. And others are trying to get you back.
You know what? A lot of it, Stephanie, timing. Look at my mom. The timing wasn't right for 2 years. Just continue to be that shining example, right? There's no one going to come and save you. I learned this. No one's going to come and save your health, right, guys? Dr. Kilt says this all the time. Who is responsible for your health? You. So they can say whatever they want, but I will tell you, there will come a time where something's going to happen to them, possibly, right? Maybe never. But if it does, and how healthy you are and how great you're doing, how thin and vibrant, right? Even look at Stephanie's son, I mean, sudden now he's ready to listen. So it may never happen, but the one thing I learned through my divorce, almost 15 years ago, is the only person you can change is who? Yourself. You just can't change others. You can try, you can want to. I wanted to help my mom so bad for all these, since I was screaming in the beginning. I was a carnivore evangelist, started keto evangelist. Then I was a carnivore evangelist. And she just thought I was nuts. And the more I pressed, the more she pulled back. So I just let it go. I didn't say a word for, almost 2 years. Finally, the time was right. Okay.
It's friends. It's not just family too. It's also friends. When I started my Facebook page, or I'm sorry, my YouTube page, on my YouTube channel, I started getting lots of followers. I would post it to my regular Facebook, George, like the one that you're you're populating and doing wonderful work on. I had my personal one, and I noticed all my friends, and I have a lot of friends from when I used to teach in Maryland, and all my teaching friends here in Florida, and just I have hundreds and hundreds of friends. Not a single comment. Not one single comment. And I would post my teaching videos and comments. Nobody wanted to hear it. So I started a second Facebook channel. Everybody please mute. I did a second Facebook channel that was more business, so I could post just that. I can't talk with the echo. Somebody needs to mute. I'm sorry. Is it me?
It's not me. I'll put myself back on mute.
Is everybody on mute? There it goes. Okay. And there, it's better. I don't know why. I can't concentrate when I hear myself in my ear. And so I have a second Facebook place, which is it's called The Carnivore Teacher. And then there's John LaSpina. And I post just my Facebook, my YouTube stuff on the business page, and all the people I don't really know in person, they're thanking me and asking questions and commenting and asking and forwarding and sharing. But on the regular one, the people that I grew up with and knew, even from elementary school, they don't even, they think I might be in a cult, maybe. I don't know what they're thinking, but they don't want to hear it. Nobody comments. But I'll post a picture of a cute little Rottweiler doing something funny, and everybody's posting away. So it's not just family, it's friends and family. And I like the Jesus analogy, George. It makes so much sense. I'm so glad you shared that, because I am now going to use that as part of my explanation as to why family and friends don't want to hear you sometimes. Yeah.
Reference I was looking for. So if I can just read it, it is
yes,
Mark,
please.
Verse 4. Okay, Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, home." There we go. If the man said it, then who are we to argue with that?
I remember that. When you referenced it earlier, didn't read it this time, but I remembered learning that, and it rang a big bell. I love learning. I just never stop learning. And Georgie just taught me something today that I can use.
I love that too. And something my husband and I have talked about a little bit before was, I'm 40, so for 39 years I didn't eat this way. And even being clean keto for 3.5 years prior to that, I was pretty set against going carnivore. So it took me this long. Maybe their moment just hasn't come yet, like you were saying. When the moment's right for them, they'll see us or see what they need to see in order to make those changes that they need to make in order to be more healthy.
Definitely. Before we end the show today, what kind of dog do you have, Kat?
Oh, goodness. We have 3 dogs. The one that you can hear is a Saint Bernard, though.
Oh, I love them.
Barking. Yeah. He's a big
boy. Do you feed them not kibble? Do you feed them carnivore foods, I hope?
No. We do still feed them kibble. We've talked about, though,
switch over.
changing it. Yeah. And we do harvest deer. We hunt.
Okay.
Even now my daughter hunts, so she's the main harvester in the family. So we talked about even just processing some deer mixed with some bone and organs and kind of packaging it just for the dogs. And
it's so healthy for them.
Yeah.
So Kat,
is there
Kat, I have a little 10-pound Maltipoo. Her name's Jersey girl.
Aww.
And she has no teeth, but she just sits there and cries and whines and paws at me and eats whatever I'm eating. The meat, I cut it into little pieces and she just sucks it straight down. She is a full carnivore. She eats eggs and meat, mostly beef and chicken, a little pork, and eggs. And she loves it. And she is so much more energetic, and she's just incredible on the meat. Her fur coat is real soft too now.
That's their obligate carnivores. They're supposed to have that for sure. I would love to talk about this topic for the next 30 minutes, but we are at the top of the hour here. So let's let me read this last comment, but we've got to do our closing here. I don't want to run over. I actually have a birthday party that I'm going to, and I made meat last night that I have to cut up and put on a plate and take with me. So I have something to eat, and whoever else wants to eat that there. But it's the strong carnivorous. It's always so sad that the message comes from others, family, friends, and loved ones who can see your transformation right in front of your eyes, but still will not support you. Did we read that one yet?
Yeah.
We did. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we read
just a
that one.
quick shout out. That is my friend Louise, actually. The
Okay.
Carnivore.
It is.
Thanks, Louise. Yeah.
All right, Steph, tell us where we can find you and learn more about you.
Yeah, it was great to be with you in the comments today, and now I'm commenting on John's channel, so most of you will be able to see it. So that felt really good, and it's lovely seeing all the familiar names come up and a few new names who we've welcomed along, who are joining us for the first time tonight. So to keep this short and sweet, I'm Stephanie, and you can find me at Happy Sexy Health. I've got a YouTube channel here, and I would love you to subscribe and join us for videos as well. Over to you, George.
Short and sweet, George.
Yeah, okay. So tonight a new side of me has come out. That's my New Testament, which I keep in the, and it's quite useful to refer to. George Goodenough.
That was very short and sweet. You got cut off.
All right, do it again, George. You got cut off most of it.
Okay, no worries. Okay, George Goodenough 823 is my channel, and I'm George Goodenough on Facebook. Please come and find me as a tell me you're a carnivore, and I will accept you as a friend. That's it, really. That's as much. And yeah, that's a good reference book, by the way.
I like that, and I'm going to make mine the shortest. This is me. I'm on everything, so just look me up. Follow us every Sunday, please. All right, short and sweet. Papa Carnivore, where can we find you? Unmute first.
My channel is Papa Carnivore, one word. Don't put Papa space Carnivore. If you search that, you'll find me. I don't have any videos there, but I have about 300 subscribers, I think. But where you'll find me is in the chat and on live streams. Dr. Moderator and Dr. Kilt's morning show every weekday, 6 a.m. Eastern time. Also at 7 a.m., Old Guy Carnivore. If you look up Old Guy Carnivore, I'm now a moderator. I just 2 days ago became a moderator for Mitch to help out Mitch. And also Target Prime Rib, which is Thomas. If any of you know Thomas, I'm going to be a moderator in his channel as well. But I'm everywhere. You know, you guys will see me. I'm in the chat just about every carnivore show.
Thank you. And Kat Herman, where are you from, by the way, Kat?
I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay, we didn't get that from you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can find me at Kairos for Health. That's my very, very tiny YouTube channel, but hopefully I'll be growing it.
Spell that for us.
At Kairos for Health. So Kairos for Health. So Kairos from the Greek word from the Bible. You should look it up. It's really great. And you can also find me at Herman_Catherine is my Instagram. And then on Facebook, I am Catherine Herman as well. So I'd love to connect with whoever wants to connect with me. And I'd love your support.
All right, absolutely. All right, we put these in the text, and I will put it in the show notes on my YouTube page. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Please join us every Sunday. Come back next Sunday. We will have a different guest each week sharing their carnivore journey. And check out Papa Carnivore's hat. Shove it in the camera there, Peter. And we've got George's hat, and we've got my hat, and we have Stephanie's gorgeous hair, and we have Kat's beautiful. Are those blue blockers? Blue blocker glasses. And
yes, they are.
And I don't blame you for wearing. There she is. Beautiful eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You are beautiful. Okay.
Oh,
definitely.
Thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, click the button there, Steph. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye. Bye.